Saylor just revealed something insane. What if one company found a way to make Wall Street watch it every 15 seconds? Not every quarter, not every earnings call. Every single minute. While most public companies struggle to stay relevant, one firm turned its balance sheet into a live financial battlefield where billions of dollars move in real time. And according to Saylor, the secret weapon isn't revenue, it's Bitcoin. And what he's revealing could completely change how companies compete in the financial markets.
How do you make a company interesting? Okay, well, first of all, you take it public.
Most public companies follow a predictable playbook. They go public, release earnings every quarter, and try to avoid surprises. Investors hear from them 4 times a year. That means the company is only interesting about 1% of the time. But according to Saylor, something very different happened when MicroStrategy decided to put massive amounts of Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Suddenly, the company stopped behaving like a normal corporation. Because Bitcoin trades 24/7, the value of the company's treasury constantly moves. Saylor says the result is simple. Instead of being interesting once every quarter, the company became interesting every few minutes. On their website, the value of their Bitcoin treasury can swing billions of dollars in real time. In fact, Saylor joked that they now generate more news every few minutes than the company did in its first 20 years. This strategy transformed how the market interacts with the company. Compared with giants like Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Alphabet Inc., Saylor claims his company now has far higher trading activity relative to its size. Metrics like open interest versus market cap, trading liquidity versus market cap show something unusual. Even compared to the biggest tech companies on Earth, MicroStrategy attracts dramatically more market attention per dollar of market value. In other words, Bitcoin turned the company into one of the most actively traded financial instruments in the market.
But that's first order interesting because now there's a ticker. But I just illustrated if you're a well-run conventional public company, you're only interesting once a year or once every 12 weeks because you never say anything otherwise. So, there's news one day out of 100. 1% of the time you're interesting if you're a conventional company, and you're not supposed to be that interesting. You're supposed to never surprise me. So the number of companies that can surprise me to the upside every quarter, 40 quarters in a row, Natalie, that's 1 in 100. So 1% of the time you're interesting, and 1% of the time you're interesting in the right direction, which is 1 in 10,000, right? 1/100th of 1% of the time, will that turn out well? Okay, that's the conventional playbook. Now, how do you take a company and make it interesting every day? How do you make it interesting every 15 seconds? You take it public, then you put a lot of Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and then you let the Bitcoin vibrate, right? Oscillate. And that makes the company 100x more interesting? No. 1,000x more interesting. Maybe 10,000 times interesting. Now, if you go to our website, one thing on our website is that you find out we made or lost $1 billion every few minutes.
Yep.
Right? It's like every few minutes. Right? That's more news than we generated in the first 20 years of the company, Natalie.
You make us feel better about our portfolios.
Okay? It's like, whatever, $10,000, $7 billion plus or minus. Okay. What's a $50,000 draw? $35 billion, okay? Okay, so it's a $35 billion drawdown. I guess that's going to arouse interesting passions. But here's the other point. If you go to the charts tab, you can actually chart all of these securities and all these assets versus each other. And one of the cool metrics we've got is open interest divided by market cap. And we benchmark, open interest of MSTR versus Tesla versus Nvidia versus Google or Apple. Do you care to guess which company has the highest open interest versus market cap out of that entire Mag 7 group?
Strategy.
Our company. Yeah. It's not even close, Natalie.
I bet.
It's not like we're 80% of the market cap is open interest. And some of these other companies are, these are the 7 greatest companies in the world, Natalie.
Yeah.
4%, 5%. Not interesting. The greatest companies in the world doing the most important thing in the world. An order of magnitude less interesting. If you look at average daily trading volume, the liquidity per market cap, who do you think's number 1?
Strategy.
We are. Okay. How did we manage to become the most liquid, most interesting company? It's very simple. It's like back to Iron Man, the idea of the Iron Man super suit is really cool, but you need the power source to actually power up the Iron Man suit. You need an extreme power source in the balance sheet of the company. And the power source is Bitcoin, right?
Most investors still think of Bitcoin as just another speculative asset. But Saylor says that completely misses the point. The real breakthrough isn't just the asset itself. It's the architecture of a frictionless financial network. A system where capital can move continuously, without interruption, across borders and time zones. He compares it to other technological revolutions. Electricity doesn't shut down on bank holidays. Gravity doesn't stop working on weekends. The internet doesn't pause because markets are closed. And according to Saylor, the technologies that reshape civilization always share one thing in common. They operate continuously and globally without permission. That's why he believes digital capital will eventually outcompete slower, more restricted financial systems in what he describes as a Darwinian evolution of money.
And the breakthrough of the crypto economy is to create a financial asset which is interesting globally, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because you see, if I want to cripple a financial asset, here, let me show you how I cripple it. I make it illegal for anyone outside the US to buy, right? That's your first step down. Then I make it impossible for you to trade except 9:30 to 4. That's the second step down. Then I force you to go through all sorts of AML, KYC and take 3 months to set up the account. So I make it very difficult. Fourth step down. Third, and then I maybe limit you and require you of $100 million of capital and be a qualified, investor to buy it. It's another step down, right? If I just keep stepping it down, right, I cripple access. Maybe then I take it off the exchange. I make it a private instrument. Mm-hmm. I make it 144A, or I make it totally private, and it's another crippling step down. By the way, then give it a 6-letter ticker instead of a 4-letter ticker. Hard to remember. People, yeah. Can you name any publicly traded stocks with a 5 or 6-letter ticker?
Metaplanet.
It's hard, right?
Yeah.
Like 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100. It's hard.
Yeah.
How about if I give it a QSIP number? What if it was like KO1997442? So there's a lot of ways to make something uninteresting, right? Make it difficult. And yet the crypto industry went the other direction, right? What if everybody on Earth, what if anybody can trade this thing in 60 seconds by downloading an app to their mobile phone? How do you actually give access to the instrument in China? By the way, we had a bank holiday the other day. It's illegal to buy or sell, publicly listed securities. It's like, what happens when the government of whatever country just decides to unilaterally declare 60 days to be holiday? You can't trade on Saturday. You can't trade on Sunday. You can't trade on President's Day. You can't trade on the 4th of July. You can't trade. You can't, right? They're all crippling. They all cripple the financial markets, right? And the point that I made that day was, on a bank holiday, you can move any amount of Bitcoin for 44 cents. $1 billion for 44 cents in a few minutes. And so what we have here is a digital revolution. If you get it, you get it. It's so obvious. It's money wants to move at the speed of light 24/7, 365. Waterfalls don't stop on bank holidays. Electricity, lightning doesn't stop on bank holidays. Gravity doesn't stop on bank holidays, right? Guns, they don't get deactivated on certain holy days, right? They work all the time, right? The things that are actually changing the world, whether it's an iPhone or running water or electricity or airplanes, they work regardless of, the opinion of a politician that would like to intervene to make them not work. The reason Bitcoin is winning, the reason that digital capital is winning, is because things that move at the speed of light, friction-free, 24/7, 365 globally, right, that can be programmed by an AI, that can be vibrated or transformed 1,000,000 times a second, are going to displace, in a brutal Darwinian fashion, right, their slower, clumsier, antecedents or precedents, It's like the things that came before, right, are going to be squeezed out of the economy and out of the marketplace because the thing that comes later is just better.